Yahweh, I can say Yahweh Shai, or I can say Yahweh, or I can say Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Macham, diligence, respect, fear, and trembling. As I talk to the knowledge coming back to the spirit of power of Yahweh Shai. I pray and hope that this video is edifying to the hopeful elect, okay, to the and peace and blessings from the best of it. And this is going to be a quick lesson through the Spirit. Revelation 11 and 11. It's Revelation 11 and 11. And after them stood upon their feet, great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right? So in 3 days and a half, the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Most, day and a half, in the 350 years, okay, of us here, just roughly 1969, 1970. This was a vivid. That's when the truth began to be known, all right, at that time. Okay? And it said, the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Most High entered into them, the Spirit of the Most High in the understanding. Okay? Now remember, when Yahweh Shai resurrected and he was with his disciples, then came apostles. Okay? He sent them out. But in John, remember it said that he breathed upon them. Alright? He upon them and then he sent them away. So that's the same thing that has happened to us, those men that are doing this work, the Spirit of Yahweh Shai. The Lord breathed upon us, meaning He gave us the knowledge and understanding of the Scriptures, so we can go out here and prophesy. That, see, that's the Spirit of the Israelites waking up. The so-called white man, Esau, Edom. Okay, specifically the Jews, the so-called Jews, man, the ones that stole our nationality. All right. Now there's fear. There's fear because they thought that eugenics, they thought that certain agendas and plans and plots to the situation of Israel was going to work. You see, they set up the leaders, okay? They paid certain men off to go with their agenda, all right? Because remember what that guy, remember in, I believe it was 69, the black be created unless we create one. Because at that time, you had Jake start to realize that they had a common enemy. And a common enemy was the so-called white man. So you've seen like different organizations banding together. See, when the blacks banding together under the Black Panther movement, you had certain Israelites, which is the Mexicans, and Ephraimites, which they don't tell you that a lot of Puerto Ricans was with the Black Panther Party. See, when they start to see the blacks and Latinos banding together and saying that there's a common enemy, remember simultaneously, I forgot the name of it, but I remember Apostle Ramlab did a lesson on it years ago. I believe it was Apostle Ramlab or Elder Bishop Sakaran, when they was going into on how Native American groups moved together, all at the same time. They didn't have the truth, okay? Some groups did not have the truth, but that was the bones and the sinews that was spoken about in Ezekiel the 37th chapter coming together, but no breath was in them. See, they start to form these different organizations to unify themselves, because we've been getting our asses kicked by the so-called white man, by Esau. Okay? So that was a problem. See, these different groups out here that was back in the 70s and the early 60s, they was all coming together finding out that the white man was the devil, you know? But they didn't have the truth. So come 69, 68, 69, 70, all right? The commandment keepers came, okay? And he that let him hear. All right. Elijah the prophet, okay, came about. All right, and he branched off from the commandment keepers. All right, because he came into the understanding of the what was known as the New Testament. Okay, which bridged that gap of bridge the gap of 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 of, of, of what we're doing now. Okay, the belief in Yahweh Shai on his return. This is why we have so much that uh, uh, hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay, hurt not the oil is meaning that okay, the prosperity doctrine was trying to cover so we wouldn't come to the understanding of who we were or who we are. You see, Negroes, all right, African American, Latin American. You got Jake calling himself Timothy, all right. You got a color black. Remember back years ago, they said Christianity. There was a time where there was no understanding of who we were. But now, it has been found out about Shana Shai determining some of which is the internet, okay? Now you ask what's their nationality, you know, they're going to hit around being an Israelite, hit around being a Jew, okay? And this is what he saw. Remember leaving out of Egypt. Remember when we left out of Egypt, all the nations were in fear that the power of Israel, Yahweh, delivered them out of Egypt under captivity, under bondage, which was a great deliverance. That deliverance was great. That Balak was trying to hire Balaam to curse the nation of Israel because they were afraid that wherever we went, we were going to take over to the spirit of God's commandment. Okay? That are so-called mark the end of an age by a period. Alright? Jeremiah 28:8. What? That the spoke against many countries, kingdoms, alright? Of evil, of pestilence. When the prophets came on the scene, when they stood upon their feet, this is going to be a shift. Okay? It's going to be a shift of history tells you that one empire rises, one empire falls and took it out the way, and then the next one rises. All right, when you go about the, you know, they call it the Nebuchadnezzar, where it's the Babylonian, the Assyrian Empire, the Babylonian, the Persians and the Greeks and the Maya clay, right? So when you really go into the dynamics of that, each military got stronger, okay? And the money supply got weaker with gold, you know, brass, okay? And now we're here in the top, in the end of this thing, all right, where the money is completely destroyed. We're at the end because the prophets came up on the scene, you know? So each empire eventually goes down, okay? The Persian and Medes are stronger than the Romans. I mean, okay? The Greeks are stronger than the Persian and Medes. Then the Romans are stronger than the Greeks. And now we're here today. You have the beast, okay? NATO and the EU have that strong military coalition fighting force who's about over by Yahweh Shai and the Holy Angels. That's what it speaks about in Revelation. All right, when it speaks about the Satan and his angels against Michael and his angels. That's going to be the next. And this is the heaven that it's talking about. They're going to be subdued. Just like these other nations subdued other empires throughout history. Well, we're coming to the point where this empire is about to be over with. Okay? All the scriptures line and you can get that understanding, man. Matthew 24, what is the disciples that Yahweh? When the end of the World Cup goes back to I believe Eon, okay, which is basically and some of those things that is made mention in Matthew 24th chapter was war, rumors of wars, and kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation, you know, and this is what the prophet set up to prophesy about, okay, one kingdom falling and one arising. All right, well, we're in the last days, so now we're waiting on Hushai's kingdom to be fully established. Man. And remember, in Samuel, we told us that now it's going to be an everlasting kingdom. That joint heirs with our Lord and Savior Yahushua, the Israelites, okay? Isaiah 45 and 17, Israel will not be confounded nor ashamed, world without end. Okay? World established for eternity. Okay? And this is why Revelation 11 says, great fear fell upon them which saw them. Because this is a shift in kingdoms right now. Okay? We're coming to the point where the kingdoms are going to shift. And we're going to be on top. And I'm going to try to do something. I'm trying to read while I'm driving. Real quick. This is the Rock 10. And 8. So in 8 it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injury, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people into another. Okay? So through the rape, rob, and murder, and making deals with the other nations, okay, to come down and to oppress the nation of Israel, and this guy has gotten riches, okay? Revelation 18 chapter puts it to riches, okay? And then it tells how one of the reasons why this place is going to get destroyed is because the slaves were men, all right? Because we're in captivity. So the injuries, riches got by the people, the kingdom is translated from one people into another. And what is that people? Translated from the Edomites to the Israelites. Okay? Hold on. Let's see if I can pull another scripture. Another precept. Second Ezra 6 and 7. Which y'all know where I'm going. Y'all know what this is. And we may sound like a broken record, but we're actually issuing in the kingdom by doing this. We're speaking on our Lord and Savior to crack the cloud, Yahushua, and the holy angels to come with the chariots of Israel, man. Okay? That's another thing. That's real. See? The chariots, the vehicles are deliberate. So for years and decades, they were known as identifying flying objects, or UFOs. Remember what, back in the early 2000s, the 90s, they were called flying saucers. Well, those were the flying rolls that were speaking about answer I is what shall be the parting of time, or when shall be the beginning of it that followeth. So the prophet Ezra was asking to, okay, the angel Uriel, when is the end of the month? Okay, and when is the beginning of it that followeth? Because it was promised, okay, beginning with our forefathers say that this said, and he said it to him from Isaac when Jacob first, I'm sorry, and he said it to him from Abraham up to Isaac when Jacob and Esau, and the story goes back to Genesis, it means the beginning, okay? Beginning, Jacob's hand to him Esau is the end of the world, the beginning of it that follow it. See, Esau the so he is the end of the world. Who's in rulership now? Like by default, who's on the dollar bill? Whose rules and regulations overshadows the whole planet Earth? Hell, even in China, you got English in China. You know, you have the Chinese letters, Chinese characters, and then you got American English on their stuff too. White man is in power right now. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why we know that he's in rulership. But it tells you that he's the end of the world. You see? And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows it. And Jacob is going to rule next. Okay? That's what's happening. Jacob is going to rule next. And this is why we know that he has time. This is why he set up Project Mosquito. You know, he set up these different Lord Luciferians to try to disrupt our purpose. Because pretty soon that vibration of demonization, you know, it's gonna be people gonna try to attack the prophets, attack them in the Lord, you know. But it's all written. They're not gonna be able to do that. 2 Corinthians 13 and 8. The truth before the truth. Okay, so no matter what this devil has tried to set up and to play, making the children of Israel not existent, by some reason, it's people that it proves, no matter what you do, the Israel is there. I just that by his spirit, the spirit of what? The spirit of the Bible, Nazareth. All right? And it has. The prophets have been gathered. Okay? So we believe that the elected sealed, and we're in the time of holy fast, okay? Because we're waiting on, you know, coming to fruition, right? You know? So this is that long suffering, you know, to the kingdom. You know, long suffering. He said got some shit on his hands. He made the nation of Israel into other philosophies and cultures, right? But here that we are at the end of this thing, okay? But how our sons and daughters, they really dealing, okay? They know they're Israelites, they pray, okay? They watch the videos, they salute the brothers. We are truly at the end of Esau's world. And after, you know, Revelation 11:11 was a very waking up, man. That goes into Ezekiel 37 chapter. Okay? In the dry bones on how breath was in them, okay? Understanding. And then it said they seen an army, which is representing a great army, okay? 7 and 9. It says, and then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, But go read Ezekiel 37, 9 on down. Okay? And it tells you how the breath entered into bones. Alright? The sinews, the flesh, the bones, all begin to band together. That's talking about the nation of Israel. Alright, the Black Latinos and Native Americans, the David. Alright, okay. As in the days of old, we're live. You can see it in the camp. We have Zebulun reading for Ephraim and getting down to the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And this is what this day is feared to happen. So we wouldn't have any hope. We created the terminology secure, innocent, secure, black meaning dead, ill will, so we can have that demonic energy amongst us, The devil did a lot. They have groups out here waiting on the prophets to arrive so they can come in and bring in their witchcraft. Vocab Malone, man. They said, hey, Vocab Malone, he's an agent of Satan. And he's sent to frustrate our purpose of building. Okay? Oh, I stopped. 7 and 9. This to the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, the power come from the form. So I prophesied that he commanded me, and the breath unto them, and they lived up upon their feet, and exceeding. That's the direct precept, Revelation 11, man. Okay? As well as you go to John, the 20th chapter on down, all right, the last remaining, around the 20, 21, 22 verses, all right, when Yahushua came, okay, came unto them, okay? And what was that breath? That was the breath of life. The breath that Adam got in Genesis 2. You go into wisdom, Jesus, wisdom of Solomon, and the Apocrypha, spoke about that breath, okay? That's exactly where we're at. What it is. Okay? So now we have hope. But the destruction comes to be delivered. Because after this, the so-called white people wanted to slavery. After this, okay? Because when Yahweh Shabbat, he's going to give his people the power. Nations into captivity. It says, ask for me, be the heathen for an inheritance. Going to Revelation, it tells you how to hold fast, all right, until the Lord returns. All right, he's going to give us power. So we got next. That's what this is about. That's what all earth is about. It's about putting us back on top. Okay? The Lord's going to cause a real big, heavy scene for his people. Okay? So with that, I'd like to go out going on and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Dr. Thumb, and by my apostle, Winstone, love, diligence, respect, fear, and trembling. Ball.